Good day, dear friends. Today we will talk in our own way about one of the highest virtues, prayer, and about illnesses. We'd use Terry Kirillov on the channel with the Pope about everything and thoughts for each day. Today's Gospel reading is the 88th chapter from the Gospel of Luke. In it the Lord tells a parable about the unjust judge. It is said that there was a certain unjust judge who did not fear people and was not ashamed of God. And there was a widow in the same city who kept coming to him asking for justice against her adversaries. But because the judge did not care about her case, he did not listen to her for a long time. But finally he said to himself, "Even though I do not fear people or God, I will give her justice so that she will not continue to bother me." And the Lord said, "Listen to what the unjust judge says. Will not God help you and provide you justice and swiftly offer his assistance?" So here is the question. Why does the Lord not immediately hear our prayers, not immediately answer our requests?
The reason is that prayer is one of the highest virtues. Prayer itself is happiness.
If we pray to God, if we have a desire to dwell in prayer, it is a great gift that can hardly be compared to anything else, except perhaps with the highest perfection, when we stand before God, when we have completely loved God and our neighbor. Only with the highest perfection, when we have already stood before God, when we have fully loved God and our neighbor. Only in this case can we leave prayer, when the Lord himself has appeared to us and wants to tell us something, as Father Seraphim of Sarov says. In all other cases, prayer is one of the highest gifts. Therefore we must cherish it. If something can repel us from prayer and deprive us of it, then we should fear that.
Even if our health deprives us of prayer, we must avoid it.
And the Lord, seeing that the fulfillment of our request may hinder us in the work of our salvation, may deprive us of prayer. Sometimes he does not rush to fulfill our requests. For example, a man prayed to be healed of cancer. His wife, who was a parishioner, did not tell him about it, and the man got cancer.
He was already inoperable.
He started going to church, confessing and taking communion. For 2 years he went to church, prayed, practically memorized the morning and evening prayers. And then somehow 2 years later he discovered that the tumors were gone. He underwent all the examinations which confirmed that the tumor and metastases had disappeared. And what do you think? After a while he left the church, left prayer, left the faith. And this parishioner tells me when I asked him, how can that be? The Lord performed such a miracle on you, healed you from an incurable disease. And he answers me with glassy eyes, no, he says it was probably some medical error. And he answered me with glassy eyes saying, no, he said it must have been some kind of medical error. It's impossible for a tumor, especially with metastasis, to disappear. In other words, the Lord heard the request of this person, granted it, and the person lost the highest gift he had. If he had lived with this illness, he would have prayed, communicated with God, and been saved. His soul would have been saved. And now I don't know how his fate turned out, whether he's alive or not. If death overtakes him in such a state, then probably nothing good awaits him. That's why sometimes the Lord doesn't rush to fulfill our requests, our prayers, even though he wants to comfort us, pour out his love and grace upon us. But he doesn't rush to do so because he knows that in a state of prayer we embody the highest virtue.
We communicate with him and in this way ensure our own salvation.
Therefore may God grant, dear friends, that we remember that the Lord always takes care of us, always seeks our good, and that we appreciate those gifts, and in particular the gift of prayer and the opportunity to pray, which the Lord sends us for our own salvation.
May the Lord preserve everything.